Hey Bethlehem, this is Pastor Paul, and we're in this sermon series entitled Right Where I Am, as we examine what it means to glorify God in all situations. Here at Bethlehem, we seek to be a Christian community that glorifies God, and we know to be a Christian means that we passionately follow Jesus. We know that to have a Christian community requires us to have a common relationship with God, with Jesus, the Holy Spirit. That forms the foundation of our Christian community. And now we're talking about what does it mean to glorify God. The simple definition I've been using in this sermon series about what glorifying God is we glorify God when we demonstrate His character. Remember, we are created in God's image. And so we glorify Him, we honor Him when we live that image out, or we demonstrate His character, when we love, when we serve, when we forgive, when we're merciful, gracious. But the second aspect of that too is as we demonstrate God's character, as we love those around us, as we forgive, as we show mercy, what happens is that provides an opportunity for them to worship God, to glorify God. And even if they don't right away follow Jesus, the Bible tells us that when Jesus returns, they will glorify God because of the way we live, the things that we did. This week we looked specifically at how do we glorify God at work. We spend a lot of time at work, and the people that we work with, our co-workers, we spend a lot of time around. And it's not always easy to connect what we do for a living, our jobs, with following Jesus. So in that type of environment, how do we glorify God at work? Well, I think we find some insight in Colossians, where the Apostle Paul writes to slaves. And he explains to them how they can honor God in the things that they do. And I think there's some application that we can take away from that to our own situations. So Colossians chapter 3, starting with verse 22. Slaves, obey your earthly masters in everything you do. Try to please them all the time, not just when they are watching you. Serve them sincerely because of your reverent fear for the Lord. Work willingly at whatever you do as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember that the Lord will give you an inheritance as your reward, and that the master you are serving is Christ. But if you do what is wrong, you will be paid back for the wrong you have done, for God has no favorites. Masters, be just and fair to your slaves. Remember that you also have a master in heaven. So one of the things that we see in this passage is that no matter what we are doing, we can do it for the glory of God. Paul says to slaves, hey, you can do your work. You can do this for God's glory. So if slaves who have no freedom, who have no say in what they do, can do it for the glory of God, then we can do it as well. No matter what we're asked to do, we can do it for the glory of God. So how do we do that? Well, first, Paul says that we are to be responsible. Be responsible for the work you do. Don't just do a good job because you're going to be evaluated or because people are looking over your shoulder. No, do your best at the job that you have been given. Be responsible. Listen to your bosses. Listen to your employers. Do the things that they have asked you to do, and do it to the best of your ability. Not only that, we need to change our mindset, Paul says, and remember that ultimately we're not working for our boss. We're not working for our employer. We are working for God. So do it for God's glory, because He is the one who is overseeing us. And then finally, we need to remember to respect everyone. Paul tells the masters to respect their slaves. And so we need to respect those around us. Employers, respect your employees. Employees, respect your co-workers and respect your boss, because we're all created in God's image. So our big idea this week is that we glorify God at work when we give our best, when we give our best effort. And so our challenge is, whatever work you do this week, imagine that God is your boss. This is a busy week here at Bethlehem. We have the society meeting coming up on Wednesday, the 15th at 6:30. I hope that you can be a part of that. We have men's worship night on the 17th at 7 o'clock here in the sanctuary. We have spring cleaning at 1 o'clock on Saturday, and then our summer kickoff on Sunday, May 19th. So I hope to see you at these things. God bless.